What up, y'all? It's Season Love, SZNLUV, that's who I be, and welcome to another Wednesday with me. How you doing today? You feeling nice? Are you feeling blessed? Are you feeling loved? I hope that you are. I really hope that you are. I'm so grateful to be here with you today. Welcome to another Wednesday with me. Now, today we are going to be talking about sensuality. And as you can see, I'm a bit giddy right now because, I like this topic. I don't know why. I don't know. It just makes me really excited to talk about this for some reason. Probably because I'm a sacral chakra girl. But let's get into it. As you guys know, this is a seasoned lifestyle. So this is the life that I live. I'm a spiritual gear. Okay. So this is just how I do it. This is how I think. This is my perception. So hopefully anything that I say can inspire you in any kind of way that you deserve towards your highest good, you know? Or just entertains you, you know what I'm saying? Makes you laugh or smile or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care how you receive it, but just know that these are my opinions. Okay? Use your discernment when it comes to me. Thank you. Appreciate it. As you know, I got my 3 little points, and I'm just gonna go say what I gotta say and then go about my day. Today's topic is sensuality. Sensuality means the enjoyment, expression, or pursuit of physical, especially sexual, pleasure. Sensuality equals pleasure. Whether you are expressing that outwardly, enjoying that in the internal, whatever the feelings may be, it is this energy of pleasure. Now, our sacral chakra, that's our second chakra. If you didn't know, it's orange. So actually, they're telling me to read something. Hold on, wait. One of my best friends, Victoria, she got me a whole bunch of fucking crystals for Christmas. So the sacral space, it represents sexuality, desires, creativity, and self-worth. Some crystals that are good for this chakra is citrine, carnelian, moonstone, and coral. I would say that the sacral chakra is my favorite space because it not only doesn't rule pleasure, and I don't know, I like pleasure. I'm weak. I like being pleasured in any capacity, not just sex, but simultaneously governs our creative abilities and our creative space. So the same feeling that you get when you're aroused and you're ready to you doing what it do type shit is the same energy that you get when you're getting ready to create or make something or start making your art. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And you'll notice in times of your life where you're probably having a lot of sexual relations, you may feel a tad bit less motivated to create because you're putting all of that sacral energy into one side. You know what I'm saying? When you have to delegate that energy into the other side as well simultaneously. Does that make sense? It's the same, it uses the same energy type shit. You know what I'm saying? You get the same pleasure and the same feeling of pleasure when creating as when you're about to, get some. I just think that is so fucking cool. And I've seen the physical manifestations of it and just seen how much more motivated one can feel when you're not really hyper focused on those things, you know what I mean? And you're more hyper focused on your creativity. It gooped my brain when I realized it. So hopefully that kind of was for somebody else. But let's get into my 3 points, right? My first point was shame plus guilt. Now, when it comes to our sensuality and just us feeling pleasure in general, and not, like I said, not only in, let me give some other examples of sensuality. Any type of form of intimacy, any type of way that you are gaining pleasure, like I said, in our creative sense. You know what I mean? Maybe when you go, I don't know why I'm thinking of the movies, you know what I'm saying? We gain some type of pleasure by doing things that we like to do, by receiving and accepting things that we like. I think that because of this hyper-individualistic capitalistic society, we have bred an energy of heavy ass shame and guilt when it comes not only to our creative expression, but also to our sexuality. So there's a lot of shame and guilt that's held up in both of those spaces, which is why there could be a lot of blockages for a lot of people. And to bring this point even furthermore, in my opinion, I feel like in this society, we hyperfixate on sexuality within ourselves and within other people, which is why like we have this whole coming out culture, not disrespecting it, of course, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot to some people. But I'm saying that the reason that it's a lot to some people is because there's a lot of shame and guilt packed up behind our sacral space. Which is why in that same breath, those same very people may have so much trouble trying to create their own content or just, be deep within their creativity. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of shame and guilt built up in that space. That might be a hot take, but like that's my opinion. It's a seasoned lifestyle, so don't do me. And I am one that is a part of the LGBTQ community. I go both ways, you know what I'm saying? So I understand, you know what I'm saying, the shame and guilt that is built up behind there. But I just personally have never been comfortable with the fact of letting other people know who's eating my pussy. Like I don't understand why you need to know that if you're not gonna lick me. Like that's just me personally, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't one, and I'm never one to just share something like that out to everybody, because I feel like that's personal, that's sacred, that's a part of my sacral space, so I keep that sacred, you know what I'm saying? And in that same breath, that's how sacred I keep my creativity. You know what I'm saying? My creativity, this right here, me creating these things and doing these things, that is very sacred to me. I have a routine that I go through in order to sit up here and do the things that I do. You feel me? So like, and the only reason that I was able to get to this space within myself of just freedom and liberation is just because I accept myself, embrace all of these parts of myself. And then that brings me into my second point, talking about acceptance of self. Once we release all this shame and all of this guilt, we are able to be in a space of acceptance of ourselves. We can accept every single part of ourselves, even the parts that we have learned to be shameful about. For example, again, our sexuality or the way that we want to create our content. You know what I'm saying? The things that we actually like and the things that actually fulfill us, because a lot of the sacral chakra energy is about fulfillment. Pleasure is fulfillment. You know the feeling of pleasure, and you know when you are pleasured by something, when something arouses you, when something makes you feel good and comfortable and safe. Said a lot of the times we're taught to be shameful and hold guilt in all of those things. But once we release all of that and realize that this shame and guilt is not ours to carry, we can acknowledge ourselves and accept ourselves and embrace every single part of ourselves. I have a video up on my channel called Confidence, and I speak about just my perspective of confidence. And I feel like whoever's watching this should definitely go and watch that if you haven't already, because it's very insightful. Once you accept yourself, it feels like so much more room and so much more space within you. When you release this shame and guilt and you accept yourself, you start learning different things about yourself. You start like, oh my gosh, wow, ooh, I actually like this. Oh, this actually turns me on. Wait a minute, I actually really love to create things like this. Like, wow, everything will become so much more clearer because we're releasing all of the shame and the guilt. Because another thing that shame and guilt brings is fear. The one thing that you should fear the most is fear itself. Because fear will hold you back from doing so much shit that is probably meant for you, that is probably going to lead you to your highest good, but you will never know that because you're scared. That's just how I feel. It's a seasoned lifestyle. Don't do me. Bring me to my last point. My last point is freedom plus liberation. So once we release all of this shame and this guilt, and we accept the things that we actually like, the things that actually pleasure us, next step, and just the energy that you'll step into next, the energy that you step into next is that freedom and liberation. You'll feel so much more lighter when you embrace the things that you actually love. Because when we think about how all of us are divinely cut, how all of us are completely different from one another, none of us are the same. And that is such a beautiful aspect of life that I don't think people realize, and I don't think people really, really, really focus on. It's beautiful that you have a different perspective and a different way of looking at life, and so many different things that pleasure you personally. You deserve that sacred space within you and to embrace all of those things. I hope this is making sense so far, but like that freedom and liberation will only come when you embrace yourself and release that shame and that guilt. They said, okay, hold on. They want me to look something up real quick. Liberation is the act of setting someone free from imprisonment, slavery, or oppression. Liberation means release. And I thank y'all for telling me to look that up just now. That was so smart. Cause I think that people actually underestimate the power of being liberated. You know what I'm saying? Being actually free from the constraints that were put onto you. I think that a lot of the times we get so trapped in this way of living, in this cycle of living, we forget that once we're habitual in our positive thinking and come to terms with everything about us and everything that we truly genuinely love to do, I think that we underestimate the freedom of that because we've never experienced it. And it's okay to be afraid of new things. It is okay. But please understand that at some point you're going to have to move forward and move past that so that you can experience the duality of life. You've experienced the shame, you've experienced the guilt, you've experienced the fear, you've experienced not accepting yourself for who you truly are. So the only next logical step is to free yourself. To release yourself from all of these constraints that have been projected onto you. And that's just how I feel, so it is, so be it, ashe. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in and spending some time with me on this Wednesday. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be able to speak and breathe life onto you because this is what I love to do. This pleasures me. Helping you and loving you helps fulfill me. And it makes me happy. It makes me feel fulfilled. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to be in a position to be able to do this. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below some of your thoughts. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the case may be, let me know what's tea. I'm weak. I'll see you guys next week, all right? I love you.